Good evening, everybody, or indeed good morning. I don't know what fucking time you're listening to this at.
It's not nice of you, though, that you pointed that out, because most people go, I'm not listening, but thanks for asking.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it this morning. I'm listening to it this evening. 0 stars.
It is mannerly to ask people how they're doing, in all fairness, straight out the gate. We're never getting a reply. Physically, we are just two blokes talking here. It is a strange thing to ask people how they're doing, because they're not going to be able to reply to it. But it's just nice and mannerly. I think it's a good way to start, because normally we start these podcasts just straight into me giving out or talking about, I don't know, a wart or something that I had to cut off with a Stanley knife or some weird, obscure fucking thing. But
you'll notice as well, Tom, that anytime I have to affect the accent of someone that's annoying, it's always like, very deep D4. I guess that's just questions I have to. It's questions I have to add. That's a piece that I have to find within myself. Because I know lots of people from D4 and they're all lovely. So I just don't know why anytime I'm like put to the sword, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that's so annoying. I don't know where I'm getting that from. Most of the people I know from D4 are nice.
To be honest,
I mean, there are some examples that are not. But
I made the mid 2010s made quite a career from actually doing an impression of one of those people. So I get it. I absolutely get it.
You know what I got to tell you? If you're from that particular area, but you are listening to this podcast, the feud is over. Thank you very much. Okay. We are pals. We're fucking... Did we just become best friends? Yes, we fucking did.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Tom? How are you doing? Tom O'Mahony over here, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a big round of applause. The one and only Tom the Bear O'Mahony over here, and I'm Jerry McBride. Who fucking cares?
Everybody cares about Jerry McBride. In fairness, you get so much interaction when you put something up on Twitter. It's not even funny. Like, I could literally be giving away money on Twitter. Instagram, I can get a bit of pull, but on Twitter, I could literally be giving away free money. And there's a gang, isn't it? It's a gang, and I'm not in the gang. I get it. And plus, you can't be in the gang when all you do is show up on Sundays. Sunday afternoons, and go, hey guys, what's fucking happening around here? And I go, who the fuck is this guy just showing up? You
know what it is with Twitter. You know that old saying, Tom, like, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Well, on Twitter, it's more along the lines of the more of my life I devote to entertaining strangers, the more they seem to like me. The more the time that I fucking spend away from my family, fucking writing jokes for people I'll never meet. I love every one of them.
Of course you damn do. Of course you do, because you're a comedian. I'm great. Thanks for asking, Jerry. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Only fair to middling, says you.
Fair to middling, yeah. It's we'll get into it, Tom, now very shortly. We get into it very shortly in a segment we get into it very shortly as to why I'm not feeling all that great. Before we get into that, I just want to say hello and how are you all keeping? Welcome to the Tom and Jerry Show with Tom the Bear O'Mahony and my good self Jerry McBride. Thank you all so much for listening, and indeed thank you for listening to the bonus episodes. They're going down real smooth, Tom.
I knew they would. It was a good idea on your behalf, but and there's times we go, are we willing to put the extra work in? But you know what? It's working out all right.
Do we want people on our podcast? And you know what? I always said I was never going to have another person on our podcast.
You did.
But we found our workaround, Tom, because they're not on the main podcast. They're on the fucking bonus episodes.
Yeah, but you caved. Though. You caved. You were like, no, Tom. It's called the Tom and Jerry Show for a fucking reason, and that's the way we're keeping. I was like, okay, fair enough. Then all of a sudden, it's like, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I was like, Buddha.
I think it'd be nice if we maybe brought some people on board, but not into our show. I was like, okay,
well, not in the show, but you know what, Tom? It's so good to hear about some worst gigs ever. We've been having some cracking stories. And guys, if you've been enjoying the shows, let us know in the comments. If there's somebody that you would like us to have on the bonus segment, let us know in the comments. We almost certainly can't get them, but we'll give it a go. We'll give it our best fucking swing.
For sure. Like, I mean, if if somebody's going to say, yeah, it'd be great if you Kanye on the time he lost his... Yeah, it would. Yeah. It would, but we don't know if he'd be any crack. That's a big thing, dude. Somebody has to be good crack, because there's no point in bringing somebody on who has had a terrible time, but they can't fucking bang out any crack for like 15 minutes. And I don't think Kanye would, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it'd be great if you had Richard Pryor on. It would. He's dead. Move on. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But God, that would be good to have on with the Richard Pryor on the podcast. Yeah. That would
Richard Pryor. Richard, we've summoned you back to life. We need you to be on a podcast. He's like, what the fuck's a podcast? You woke me from my eternal slumber for this? We're like, oh shit, just stick with us, Richard. Real quick, what's your worst gig ever? Fuck you.
But do interact on whatever platform you like to get in contact. We don't do Facebook, but the others, Twitter and Instagram, get in contact that way. That's which way. And it's the best way to keep up to date is what's coming out and who's going to be on and what we're going to be talking about. We are obviously posting about what our nattering has been about, our complaints, our happiness and everything else. So you feel free to jump on board. Let us know if you have any relatable content. If you just want to shout at us and give out, please do that too, because we love that shit. As we've always said here, you learn next to fucking nothing. We are not trying to right the world here. We're just two blokes shouting at each other. Turns out people like to listen in on that kind of stuff. But what they really like listening to, Jerry, and it's never broken away. We've never steered away with this one. It's our
This ain't getting its own fucking bonus episode, Tom. This one is always going to be front and center on the Tom and Jerry show.
Damn right it is. This is an a segment that we like to call Giving Out Yards.
Giving Out Yards.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women. That is good. That is good.
I love your Giving Out Yards, Jerry, because you're a cranky man. You have been since the day I fucking knew you. First day I met you probably 12 or 13 years ago, and I can tell you not a lot has changed. What?
Yes, I remember that well. You came over and goes, "Are you Jerry McBride?" I goes, "Yeah, are you Tom O'Mahony? Hang on a second, I'll be with you now. I'm after getting chewing gum on my shoe." Or something along those lines. But yeah, I you know what? I came into this whole episode a little bit cranky. You might have heard it in the intro there, because it's what I'm gonna give out about right now, Tom. What I'm going to give out, you know, I like a job, don't you know?
Yeah.
You know, I like a project. I like to take on with things. I like to make things. I like to do things. You know what? I've never been all that good with DIY, but you know what? I get the job done.
Oh, come on now. You're being harsh on yourself. In fairness, you're in the top 10%. There's a lot of DIYers out there that shouldn't have the hand to wipe their arse. No, that's not to say you shouldn't give it a go. Absolutely give it a go, because you're keeping the hardware industry in business. But Jerry, in all fairness, you're handy.
I will always say that, you know what, none of it holds up to close scrutiny, Tom. If you look at my timber joints, they're not going to get A's in your junior cert carpentry. The dovetail joints just ain't quite there, Tom. But you know what? It fucking... All right, my mortise and tenon joints are a little bit shaky, but it gets the job done. And I always find if you make a mortise and tenon joint and it's a little bit shaky, drive a couple of screws into it. It'll do fucking right.
Absolutely.
Right? I will take on anything, Tom. I will garden. I will carpentry. I will plumb. I don't fuck with electricity. That's Edison's medicine. Leave it the fuck alone. And you're not allowed legally prick around with gas. So I leave all those things to somebody else. But I'll glaze a window if you fucking ask me to, Tom. I'll give anything a go.
Yeah.
And I don't mind doing any of it.
Yeah.
I like it. You stick on a podcast, you listen to it, it's a wonderful afternoon. If you've got a DIY project coming up, anybody listening to this, stick on an episode of the Tom and Jerry Show. Even if it's an old one, even if it's one you listen to
It goes hand in hand with what you're going to be at, I guarantee you.
We count those listens twice. Don't you worry about it.
It's true.
But even I have to throw my hands up, Tom, and say, I cannot paint.
Oh, in the immortal words of Otto from Beetlejuice, you read my mind. Oh my! We literally talked about this today, and I haven't heard it since the old man. I can demolish anything. I can drop a fucking skyscraper in your pocket. I'll drop anything you want. I could give a go at fucking project managing building most shit. But I swear to God, I will burn that fucker to the fucking axles or to the foundations if I'm expected to paint towards the end of it. Tell me, Jerry.
Like, Tom, here's the thing that I keep in my shed at all time. It's a big 4-inch paintbrush that was bought for painting. Never seen paint before. I like to sort of brush.
I like doing that as well. Brush my neck as well.
You know what I mean? It's nice. You know what I mean? It's just a little. I'm like an Egyptian king fanning himself.
With a Dosco with fucking 4-inch.
With a 4-inch Dosco paintbrush, right? You know what? I just like to have it about the place, but I hold it in my hand like the sword that never drew blood. You know what I mean? I'm never going to dip this fucking thing in a pot of paint, all right? I don't know why. Where was I going buying a 4-inch paintbrush, Tom? This is the level of I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with when it comes to painting.
Did you buy it in the pack of, or was that singular? You went out and bought a 4-inch.
For some reason I felt, and when I got it home and I looked at it, I was like, why did you buy that? Because if you're going to paint it with a 4-inch paintbrush, Tom, you roll that shit, right?
Yeah, of course you fucking do. And a 2-inch is plenty for any man. If you got to do a bit of painting.
Me cuttings in and things like this.
Yeah.
Tom, I don't know what it is about painting that I just can't do, okay? I can't roll a wall. Because, I guess what is so annoying about painting for me is that it seems so easy. And if anybody's listening to this that's from a painting and decorating background, that's a painter and decorator by trade, have a good laugh at our expense, because this is someone admitting that, oh yeah, that doesn't look hard, I could do that, and failing every single time they try it. I can't do it. I don't know. To me, it's like, okay, I need to roll. That wall over there is cottage cream, and I want it to be county cream. I'm going to go to the shop and buy some county cream. I'm going to pour it into a tray. I'm going to roll a roller in it, and I'm going to roll that wall. And I stand back and look at it and go like, okay, now we've invented a whole new color.
Yeah.
Called miserable streaky shite.
Yeah.
There is not a fucking wall in this house that I have painted that is as it was intended to be. All right? And now,
you used to mix paint, Jerry.
I used to mix paint, and this is why I thought I would be good at painting, because I understood paint. I sold paint for many years, so I know my oil base from my water bases, I know my primers from my sealers, I know the prep work, I know everything, but it never adds up for me, Tom. It just doesn't add up. It's like if you need to cut something at 48 inches, you measure a piece of timber at 48 inches, you cut a piece of timber at 48 inches, and you hold it up, and it's an inch short. And you're like, where the fuck did that happen?
Yeah,
okay?
I get you. Yeah.
It's like that for me with painting. And I look at the back of a pot of paint. You reach out and grab any pot of paint, and every single thing it asks you to do on the back of it just is such an absolute chore. Like, it's like, make sure the surface is prepared. And I'm like, motherfuck this. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to. The wall looks all right. Like, it's not dirty. I'm just going to paint straight onto it. Oh, make sure your wall is free of grease and dirt. Well, there's no fucking grease in it. It's a wall. How would you get grease on it? Oh, like, there could just be, residual grease hanging in the air.
Oh, now you got to get out sugar salt. Or sugar salt.
So now you got to get your sugar salt, and it's like wash your wall. If it's timber, sand it down to the bare wood. Now, Tom, here's a project I took on last year when we were all locked up for that thing. The pandemic, we don't mention it. When I say we're all locked up for that thing, it sounded like I was like, that hit and run we were involved with. All right. And I took on with painting the stairs, okay? Painting the stairs and banisters.
Christ.
All right. And now you fucking know that I was bored beyond belief when I took on with painting the stairs and banisters, Tom.
Well, you actually invented a fucking hashtag story thing on Instagram for a while called bored chores. All of them I could wrap my head around, but that painting of those fucking nude posts and spindles, I almost had to unfollow you at that point. I couldn't look directly at it. It was like, fuck all that.
It's the DIY equivalent of looking into the open arc, okay? Your fucking face is going to melt off your bones, okay? Okay, if you're going to paint a stairs is varnished. You want to make it painty. Fair enough. I said, I've got a primer and I've got a paint. What more do I want? And they're like, oh, sand the banister down to bare wood before you start. And I'm like, that's not happening. All right,
primer ain't supposed to go on varnish. Yeah, all right, understood.
I'm not going to sand this down to bare wood because, okay, when I said every single instruction you see on the back of a pot of paint is a chore to me, it absolutely is. I fucking hate sanding, Tom. Okay, I will. And every sander I've ever bought, from the little Magic Mouse Black & Decker sander to an orbital sander to a disc sander, doesn't work.
Nope.
Just doesn't work.
Not spindles. You got
the orbitary sander is just like, and then you look at it and it's kind of got some of it off. I'm like, all right, okay, well that's it. And then give it a wipe down with white spirit. Yeah, all right, I might do that. Okay. What I'll do is, rather than take it back to the bare wood, I'll rough it up a bit.
That'll do you. In my book, that'll fucking do.
And in my book, that'll do you, right? I'll rough it up a bit so that it's all like, it looks to me like paint would take that. It looks to me, Tom, like it's got a key.
Yeah. Oh, look at you.
Look at that. Now, that's, I told you, I was paying attention when I was mixing paint, and I knew you had to have a key. But when it comes to putting a key on a thing, Apparently fucking not. So I'll go at it with the sandpaper until the novelty wears off.
Explain key to the listeners, for the Christ's
sake. The key to the listeners means if you have a smooth thing and you want to paint on it, it won't take to the smooth surface. Okay, it's like trying to paint on glass; it'll all just fall off. So you have to key it. You have to mark it up. So you get like your sandpaper and you rough it up, you duff it up a little bit, and you give it you key it. I'm sure there's painter and decorators listening to this going like, that's not what a key is, dipshit. Well, that was my understanding of it, and I think I'm not that far off.
No, you're not.
So then you got to stick on. It's like, first prime your wood, then give it an undercoat, then give it a top coat, then give it another top coat. And I'm like, that's painting a thing 4 times. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to paint this twice at best. So I'm going to give this. I'm going to go find here's a primer and undercoat all in one pot. Lovely. Give us a drop of that. Not going to do it. Anytime you ever see, it's this and this in one go, it's not. Vidal Sassoon wash and go, maybe. All right.
And only at a push. To be honest, it doesn't really. It doesn't really. It's not really shampoo and conditioner. It's really not.
It's really just shampoo.
Yeah.
All right. So this take that folly of the 80s. Take 2 bottles into the shower. No, just 1. It didn't work back then. It's certainly not going to work with primer and undercoat in one go. If it sounds too good to be true, it absolutely is. So I slap on this primer and undercoat in one go, and it looks like something a crow shit in the family.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay. So that says touch dry in an hour, recoat after 24 hours. But I'm like, no, I want to get all this done. I want to get all this done in the one day. And it doesn't strike me as being like, if it says it's touch dry in 1 hour, then it's repaintable in 1 hour and 5 minutes, Tom.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
Yeah.
So then you lash the top coat onto it. And do you know what? Like, long story short, for anybody listening to this that says, that sounds like it's all right. I ended up repainting this again a month later. Because 1 month later, 1 month to the day, that paint was still sticky. When you were going up and you had your hand on the banister, there was no paint in your hand. It just felt sticky. And any painter listening to this will go like, yeah, because you didn't let the paint underneath it fully dry, and when you put fresh paint onto not quite dry paint, all kinds of fucking crazy shit happens. All kinds of chemical things and tannins and fucking Christ knows what. All right, but you're talking to a man like this same guy here.
This shit.
I got good time for this shit. I'm the same guy that was this close to taking a pair of vice grips to assist in his eye because he didn't want to fucking soak a tea bag on it for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
So it's just this sort of unknowable wait and see aspect of painting that I can't abide, Tom. Whereas if I want to put in a shelf, I will screw screws into the wall and sit a shelf on it, put a level on it, let it up a bit, let it down a bit, and by and large there it is. The job's done. You asked me to paint that shelf. Now we're in trouble.
Will I give you an alternate scenario? The last thing I painted wasn't that much of a dose. Do you want to know why?
Why?
It's I fucking sprayed it, Jerry.
Yes. What just talk me through it, Tom, please. I need all the help I can get, Paul.
So I couldn't bring myself to painting. I could not bring myself to fucking painting, and I was lucky enough I was living beside a building site at the time, and I had a set of garden benches that I wanted to fucking paint. Okay. They were the standard, they were hardwood, they were standard fucking stained red. I hated it, fucking hated it. So I had to take the sander to some bit of it, right? I had to, because this shit has to come back out. No paint in a fucking world is going to go over this. Wrecked my fucking head, went through about 9 episodes of podcasts, got it done. Went down to hardware, fucking marvelous chap behind the counter. Mixed up the paint to exactly the fucking colour I wanted. Didn't tell him what I wanted, because I thought I wanted pistachio. Turns out it was fucking nowhere close to pistachio. This guy looked straight through me and knew what I wanted. He says, you're going to need brushes for that. I says, nope. No, I'm fucking not. There was painter decorators on site, and they had a spraying machine. So they had it hooked up to a compressor. The fucking works. I says, lads, is there any chance I can have a go at that? Fucking, of course you can. Of course you fucking can. Clean it out afterwards. It'll be grand. And it's exactly that. It's just a giant car sprayer. That's all it is. Put on your mask. Put on my full Tyvek suit, because didn't really need it. It was outdoors. Didn't mind if I got a bit of paint on me. It wasn't toxic. But I went full hog. Full fucking Breaking Bad. on this shit. Laid out my fucking drop sheet, the whole lot. Well, it was a fucking pleasure and a half. No drips, no fucking nothing, Jerry.
Blaster
had each fucking one done. I was fucking, my wrist, I was like a fucking fish, back and forth. And it was getting done in front of my eyes in literally fucking seconds. Not this to and fro and streak marks with the fucking next thing that's got too spongy. There's little sponge holes on it because of the rollers sitting in the bed, or the brush. Now you got brush strokes on it. Nothing. It was like I had picked it up and dipped it. That's how fucking clean this was. I fucking sprayed it, Jerry, and I went back the following day because I had so much fun, and I fucking sprayed it again.
You see, I could spray things, Tom.
I'm telling you now, you fucking love it.
I've got fence panels to do coming up, and I reckon I can spray them. But like the majority of the painting that I'm asked to do, and nobody asked me to do this, Tom. I take on with doing these things myself because this is like the drinking mentality when you wake up with a hangover and you're like, I'm never drinking again, and then a week later you're like, well, actually, you know what? I think I might drink again.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't bad, I suppose. I'm like, I'm never painting again. It was hell. I fucking hate it. And I'm like, okay, a little paint job needs to be done. I suppose I can do that. Okay, Tom. To spray a thing outdoors, wonderful. But if you're painting something inside,
I know. I was
being nasty
there.
You know,
I was being nasty.
Like, it's. Do you know what you need to do, Tom? You need to get the masking tape, and you need to tape off where you don't want paint. And I have done that so many times. And do you know what I'm doing, Tom? I'm wasting masking tape. Because no matter how good a job I think I do in masking the thing off, I paint it. And then I take the masking tape off, and paint is just fucking bled underneath the tape, and it's covered the walls. And
but you know the answer. You know the reason for that. Before I point out your reason for that, you fucking know it as well as I know it. Why the reason for that is? What's the reason for that, Jerry?
I'm shit at this.
No,
what is it?
You're buying fucking shit, fucking masking tape. That's what you're doing.
Well, funny you should say that, Tom.
You got to get the good gear. You fucking, I tell you.
About you say about the good gear, okay? Here's the thing, okay? I learned a long time ago that I can't wash a paintbrush, okay?
Yeah.
That I can't keep a paintbrush. I can't do it. And I know a couple of tips and tricks of how to keep your stuff right and all that. But rather than go to the effort, and I'm sorry if anybody's listening to this of a environmental standpoint, I do my best in every other walk of life, but with this, I buy disposable paintbrushes. I buy disposable. If I go up and there's like, do you want to buy a paint tray for €14? No, I'll take this one for $5 that has a roller with it, because I'm not going to wash that shit. I'm going to use it and I'm going to fuck it out. And when I'm coming to do a second coat, I'm going to go up and buy another one, because I don't have time in my life to wash a fucking roller and get more covered in paint than I already am, which I can promise you, Tom, even if it's a small paint job, I'm fucking covered in paint.
Oh, I got sent on a thing. It was relatively recent, and it's a friend who loves that shit. And it was actually, it was one of these ads on Instagram, and it was for literally washing rollers. I said, look how class this washes the roller. And I couldn't give a fuck about that roller. The whole thing, apparatus, could have fucking blown up on the screen. I would have been more entertained by it. I was like, this, yeah. I don't have the moments. The job is fucking done. I don't mind sweeping up after a job. Cleaning off a fucking shovel, absolutely. Whatever needs to be done, washing out the fucking cement mixer. But
I'll do all that. I'm not the kind of guy that digs a hole and then looks at the shovel in his hand and say, well, I guess I don't fucking need this thing anymore, and just yeet it like a javelin into the road. I'm like, fuck off,
anybody looking for free shovels, get outside McBride's
house. Heads up, here comes a shovel your way. No, of course not. Like, I'm not going to do that. But if I paint a thing with a paintbrush or a roller, that roller, an entire roller in the set, is getting fucked into the bin.
I think subconsciously your brain, Jerry, is thinking, I never want to paint again.
I want this out of the house.
If you keep, like, ourselves, father's unbelievably, his paintbrush is fucking years old, and he's used his favorite brushes, loves it. And I'm thinking, I could not have that anywhere on the property, because that would suggest that I'm going to do more paint. I like to believe when I finish painting that I will never paint a fucking thing again. Like,
yeah, that we're done. This conversation is over. I mean, like, and I said it to you, Tom, that I do take on with these jobs. Sometimes gladly. You ask me to put up shelves. You ask me to put together flat pack furniture, lay a pavement, mow the lawn, plant a tree, anything. I'm fucking doing it with a smile on my face. But nothing gives me the heavy heart, John Rambo, here we go again, downbeat vibes as picking up a paintbrush. Like, me picking up a paintbrush is just fucking Rambo going out to make himself another knife in the forge.
To win a war. You gotta become more. I get it. I know it. I know where you come from. I get it 110%. And I'll give anything a fucking go, hardware, DIY wise, but it's the paint. It's
the painting.
It's never
I'm sorry.
Fucking ending. It's
just... and it's one of these ones, Tom, where, like, you know, sometimes I give out yards and it's given out about the world that is wrong and there we need to strive and fight against it. This is me bitterly giving out about something that I am shit at, and I just have to accept that this is a job that I can't do, hate doing, but every now and then comes round my way, and I know I'm just going to be, you know. I'll tell you one fucking story, Tom. Jesus, I fucking
go on. The stress of it. Come on.
I painted the shed, and it was lovely looking, and it was a good job because it's a fucking shed, and you can't do it wrong. Okay, you rolled it out, and it all looked good, and that was all well and done. I was out and I was kicking back of a Sunday, and I looked over at the shed, and there was just like one bit around the window of it
that
you could just still see,
Jesus
right? You could still see.
Christ, burn
right?
the shed to the ground. Burn it to the fucking ground.
Still see the bare timber of it. Probably, I don't know. I just missed this one thing, and I said to myself, "All right, there's a paintbrush there. There's an old paintbrush." The kids were using it. There was one old paintbrush. The kids used it over at the sand. They were playing around, digging around with it. So I ran that under a tap and rinsed it with a bit of kitchen roll. And I went out and I hooked under the trampoline and I took out the bucket of paint that I'd done the shed with. And like, this is a simple job. And I was just, you know, I don't need to go in and get my fucking paint and clothes on for this. Right?
Your whites. You don't need them.
I don't need them. And I cracked open the lid of the bucket and I dipped the paint in it. And I just gave it the two stripes of the paintbrush that it needed just to cover that thing, and I closed the bucket and I took the brush and I rinsed it under the tap and gave it back to the kids. I know I said I'd throw them all out, but this was the kids and I gave it back to them. And in that, Tom, I had ruined a shirt, a pair of shorts, and a pair of runners.
Yeah.
Completely ruined, as in they became the new workwear that day.
Yeah.
In the process of cracking open a fucking pot of paint, dipping the brush in it, and wiping that brush on the wall, I had just completely fucking spunked paint all over myself. Don't know how it happened. I can't go near paint without getting covered in paint.
I have a pair of Carhartt down there, and I'll never get them right again. Day one, I fucking ruined it with paint. But this is the one time in your life I would ever give you a piece of advice and tell you to do this next thing. When painting next to rises, Jerry, and this is going to kill you.
Yeah.
Get in a man.
Get in a man. Get in a man.
Because we don't get in a man.
I can't.
We get, because you gotta, you're the man. You gotta do, you but I'm telling you now, get in a man.
Get a man to do the job. Yeah.
Get a man.
We don't call 911, but this is, maybe you should this time.
Just get a man. And give yourself, and you'll stand back and you'll go, that's what, I swear to God, the mother will give it.
There's a reason he gets paid for this.
Yeah, the mother will paint behind all day long, and even she was losing her fucking mind. The old man, he would, as he said himself, he goes, I would shove his shit for a fucking mile before I would lift up a paintbrush. I cannot fucking do it. They got in a man there recently for the first time ever. I said it was never a man. Had to come in around it. Got in a man, painted the fucking thing. Immaculate. Fucking immaculate.
You know what, Tom? That is a bitter life lesson. And it's why I'm giving out yards about myself more than the paint. It's what I'm realizing here, Tom.
Deep.
And know when you're beaten. And this is one time when you got to get in a man.
Got to get in a man. I'm afraid so. Or
indeed, a lady. Get in a painter, I guess, is what we're saying here. But you know, traditionally, I've
as the phrase goes, get in a man. If that man happens,
I've never seen a lady come around to paint a house.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
sure there's plenty.
That and welders are the only other female tradespeople I've ever met. If your man you get in has a woo man, fucking lift that woo man, whatever. Get the fucking.
And I gotta tell you, if there are any lady painters out there, you're welcome to give me a quote.
Absolutely.
If you come in cheap, then you high chance you're going to get this job. And that's my giving out yards.
That's your giving out yards.
I'm bitter. I'm shook over here.
That's just all right. Look, I know you're angry now because you knew the answers. You knew all the answers you knew the masking tape was a fucking scandal. We know it.
I needed to be taken on the journey, Tom.
Yep. And this is your ayahuasca fucking meeting of the fucking waters. This is you now. You have found the deep fucking meaning from the cactus or whatever ayahuasca is from. I don't know what it's from, but whatever the fuck it is, you have now, you've stepped out of your body and you admit that you have to get a man. So there you go. It's tough. There you go. It's tough.
Tom, I don't like it. I don't like it. But you know what? You don't have to like everything, Tom.
No, you don't.
But you know what? Sometimes you do like things.
Exactly.
And you know what? Sometimes you might like things that, even though I didn't like that, and I knew fucking well I wouldn't like it, there are things that I do like that, people wouldn't think I like. And I'm sure you're the same, Tom. I'm pretty sure our listeners might be au fait with this whole system by now. In a segment where a long time ago in one of the previous seasons, we talked about things you wouldn't think we like. And absolutely bereft of new ideas for season 5, we fucking brought it back, Tom.
You're damn right we fucking did. But but it's timely and it's well worth it to bring back an episode that we called You Wouldn't Think I'd Like This.
Oh, we like goblins as bats and fishes, but we hasn't tried horses before.
I think it's my swing
at yours, Tom.
Swing at the fences. Now, it's very coincidental that you were talking about painting and whatnot. Don't worry, my thing isn't going to be fucking painting, right? Because so many aspects of construction and whatnot, I fucking love it. I love the smell of concrete. I love the smell of fucking diesel, hydraulic oil. I love a fucking block being split open. That's, I love it. I love the smell of timber being cut. Love all those things that you can imagine. You associate.
Do you know what I love the sound of, Tom? A miter saw.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Just that real sexy.
Yeah.
Timber's getting cut.
I may as well tell you here now. There's a new Makita skill saw on the way, winging its way here. Yeah,
nice.
I went for corded. I was going to go cordless, and I went for corded.
You know what I'm going to tell you, Tom? Sometimes I got a cordless drill. It's over my left hand shoulder there, and it's a cordless hammer drill. I still go for the corded one when I'm drilling a wall, Tom.
Yeah. She'll never have the guts.
You know the difference.
Of 240 behind it. But that being said, these are things that you wouldn't think we'd like. You wouldn't think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, none of this is saying like, oh, I didn't think Tom loved consoles.
Oh, exactly. And this is. It's kind of only comes on, and sometimes you stumble on these things organically. I didn't fucking know I liked it. I didn't know I liked this thing. And I'm somewhat involved in the construction industry, but it wouldn't be something you wouldn't expect to see fellas like me still on site by the time this part of the show was kicking off. It's interior design. And I mean fucking snazzy stuff. And I don't mean remodeling, fucking pushing walls out. None of that. That's when you need a bloke.
That's when you need to swing a hammer. You like the finesse.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck, I do. I really, really do. I give me patterns and fucking zones to work out and stuff like that. Oh, yeah.
On it, yeah.
I'm telling you. Texture, form. Oh, tell you now. I won't paint the fucking thing for you, but I'll tell you what, 2 paints or 3 paints will go well together. Do you know that kind of way?
You're not going to paint it, Tom, but you can point out where a feature wall should be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
And like you said it yourself, Tom. Surely, like, even back in your construction days, you'd be fucking long gone by the time this shit starts.
Gone. But when you start to fucking, move into property and stuff that you have the opportunity to design, and it's been forced upon you. And for lads, look, I know lads get dragged to fucking tile shops on Saturday mornings. Their fucking hearts are broken. Piece of advice: never go to a tile shop on a Saturday morning. Take a fucking half day off work, you mad bastard, and go on a Tuesday when nobody else is in the fucking tile shop, and
you'll get a bit of attention.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But it doesn't just, like, we're not talking just that. I mean, I fucking give me Art Nouveau. You know what I mean? Like, I do like fucking stuff. I like some native. I like Americana as well when it comes to it. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
Like, this is, honestly, Tom, a lot of this is news to me because I understand the words you're saying, but I couldn't point it out in a book.
Yes, you could. Art Nouveau.
probably I'd be like, oh right, so that's new. That's new wave, is it? Oh, okay, I guess I've seen it, but
it's a broad. To be fair, it's a fairly broad spectrum now. You know that kind of. It's like when people rub their chin and say things like, "It's very contemporary," isn't it?
Because modern. In my fucking layman's terms, it either looks like a dining room in Downton Abbey, or it looks like the opening credits of Saved by the Bell. I don't have a fucking middle ground.
I get you. But listen, you are. That's a decent fucking spectrum, all right. But I tell you what was weird is I didn't know I knew or even give a fuck about these things. I remember one time meeting a chap. He called himself Patrick. His name was fucking Patrick, but he was an interior designer. And he was on a job, and maybe this was my fucking awakening. I don't know, but I was long finished this section of the job, and there was apartments, and there was to be show apartments. And he says to me, he says, "Would you come up and have a fucking look at the rug I'm after getting for this place? It's out of bounds." I says, I look at a rug all day, Patrick. No bother to you. Yeah. And to give the fucker his due by. He had a fucking eye, he had an ear, he had a nose. Every fucking thing clicked together, eyeball-wise, in the entire place. 'Twas stunning, the way he had the fucking place done out. 'Twasn't over the top with crystally old shite or fucking... You know now the live, love, laugh up on the fucking wall. He hadn't gone... And they had, at the time, it was the mid-2000s. I'll never forget. And they were all going out fucking mad. There had to be fucking crystal-looking candle holders. Fucking too many fucking yokes everywhere. But this fella, he'd fucking smashed it. You couldn't put your finger on who would want to live in this place. Do you know? It was a perfect show house. You would be happy with it. Yet a fucking and I don't know, a fucking entomologist from fucking Bangladesh would be happy with it too. Do you know what I mean? Like I remember I said, this fucker, he's not the bluffer I thought he was at all. Like. And I'm pretty sure the awakening fucking started there, but it's only in recent times with like fucking programs and stuff. And I'm going, that's fucking that is so 2019 or 2012. And herself even drew me up, and she went, "How the fuck would you know what?" I said, "That shit is long fucking gone, and I don't know where it's come from. I'm not reading magazines or looking this shit up online, but when I'm fucking immersed amongst it, I don't know, it's just popping off all over the place, Jerry."
I will say, Tom, when I moved in with my then girlfriend, now wife, 10 years ago, maybe 12, and it was my first time living. I'll tell you the straight truth, Tom. I lived at home for a long time, then I lived on my own for a while, and then I lived with my wife, and here we are. That's it, 3 places, right? So this was the only time I ever kind of lived with anybody, and. We moved into a flat, and she proceeded to make it her own. Apply a woman's touch to it.
Yeah.
Soft furnishings, paintings on the wall, such like. And all I seen was bills, Tom. I was like, fuck me. Like, did we need to, like, this is back in the day, like, did we need to spend €40 on picture frames and shit like that? Did we need to spend, 50 quid on cushions and shit like this?
I hear you.
Just making a house a home, so to speak, Tom.
Yeah.
All right. And I was like, all right, fuck, that's all. That's a load of shite. And then, separate to this, I went to one of the lads' house, and he was living on his own in a flat, and I went into it, and it was just like bare white walls, one fucking Pulp Fiction poster,
of course,
over here,
that
and
or
I'm
Scarface, fucking Scarface, yeah.
And I'm looking at it, going like, that's not even in the. Regardless of not being in the middle of the room, it's not even where it should be to tie in with anything. Like, it's sort of halfway between what is your kitchenette and your sitting room. So it's not, I'm here, Tom.
You're dividing those zones here, like,
here's the word, Tom, is like, it's not the focal point of anything.
I get you.
And it was only then that I could realize, like, actually, do you know what? There actually is a bit of a knack to making a house a home, and I could see what my missus was doing back when. A week later, I was like, "Fuck me, another throw, Jesus Christ!"
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't that I didn't like what she was doing; it was just that I'm a miserable bastard and I wouldn't spend Christmas, But having been to a house with new eyes, I could go, okay, yes, there is an act to it. There is a way that you can make a place very, very nice. So I don't mind interior design, Tom. With that being said, there's a fair to middling amount of wank involved.
Oh, listen. Sure, look, you are just dealing with people's perceptions. Do you know what I mean? It isn't like you can't turn around and go, here, sure, leave out the fucking foundations altogether. We'll get it up to, you go, no, look, they have to be in, son. They got to be in. Do you know what I mean? Look, fucking leave off the roof. The fuck, we can do it next year when I have the money. No, that's got to go on. That's got to go on. I hear you. It's splashing up, but this is how I think we're the fucking main bastard in me. I'm hungry as fuck, just like you.
What?
But I think there's a fucking, like we talked about with the brushes and the likes. Get the fucking good joke. Get it once.
I can't tell you how many fucking rugs we've gotten for the hallway.
Oh, listen, and they ate alive.
6 months later, you're just like, it doesn't suit. No, it just doesn't suit.
It's funny how things suit when you spend a few pounds on it, isn't it?
It's funny when you apply a bit of thought, Tom, when you're not just out and you see a rug and go, that'd probably do.
Yeah.
You know?
That's not the one for you. And listen, we all learned the fucking hard way. We all went into fucking Home Store and more and bought the fucking curtain rail that is fucking down to $16.99. You know full well that joke was going to be bent in the middle within a fucking month because the curtains that your mother gave you are fucking busting it.
Yeah.
The
good curtains, because your mom knows what she's at.
But I'm all about staying fucking tight. And minimalism possibly is the fucking minimalism, I think is the phrase that I'm starting to steer in that direction rightly at the minute. Like, it's fucking cut out. I don't need 12 of the one fucking thing, but you can get fucking crafty with textures and fucking lines running the right way around the room. Like, a fucking yoke's in the right fucking place. Do you know what I mean? And all of a sudden the place feels homey, but you haven't bought every fucking yoke under the fucking roof inside the interior shop. Do you get me? Like, you can, you can go about it the right way without making a pure fucking cunt to yourself, like, you know, and buying every knotted fucking yoke. Like, when you go into a fucking house that's nowhere near the sea and all of a sudden they've got fucking anchors up on the wall and fucking roundy boat, and you're going, listen, we're in fucking North Tipperary here. We're the inland county. What are you doing? Like, you know, it fucking drives me over the edge, that kind of fucking stuff. Cluttering up a house with shite you don't fucking need.
I'm into minimalism. I am into minimalism myself, Tom. I had to. Yeah, there was no way I was getting that sentence.
No, I know it. I'm delighted.
I am into minimalism myself, Tom, solely because it's less to clean in the long run. Because you know what it is, Tom? A show house is not a house. You go into a show house and everything's pristine and all that. I'm like, yeah, okay, traipse 2 kids around this fucking 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I do like to, you know, I like minimal. I like minimal because it's like, you know. Because I'd be real fucking a big pain in the hole if I like a thing here and it's moved or altered or tilted or has a fucking Thomas the Tank Engine running on it or anything like that. I'd be like, I don't like it.
That's why I won't have mantelpieces. I did it.
We won't have mantelpieces.
No. Seven the brother built a house years ago. We ripped a fucking old fucking townhouse asunder and we built a new house inside it. Very contemporary. Very contemporary. Very nice. Gutted it. I mean, up 4 floors, this fucking thing was. Blew the fucking roof off of the whole lot, built a steel structure on the bottom, and then built fucking hardwood timber off of that. It looked nothing like what you would imagine it was. But with that, we could refuse any presents we got from people. Housework, it's a fantastic fucking thing. Have no mantelpiece means you can't take stupid presents off people. Do you know when people rock up with this crystal fucking duck that they bought you from Lanzarote, you go, I have no mantelpiece. Jesus Christ, you can't. No, I wouldn't.
And I will say, everybody's well-intentioned, Tom, but every now and then you'll get something and you're like, fuck me, that ain't it.
Get that dust collecting fucking yoke out of my sight.
No.
Don't need a fucking fireplace.
Thank you very much for it. Thank you for the gesture. It was lovely, and thank you. And we will find a home for it. You know, whatever it is, we'll always find a home for it, but not where you thought we were.
Yeah. The parents had a fucking plethora because the old lad worked with a load of fucking younger fellas and they were all thought it was right nice to bring him a yoke back from fucking Tenerife, a fucking fake lava fucking mountain from fucking Lanzarote. And they had him all literally gathered in a box underneath the fucking television inside the sitting room. I said, come here, I said, right, if only we had one of those brilliant motion cameras. We put him up on the back fence. We shot every fucking one of them off the back fence.
Every single one of them.
And it was cathartic for the man. You could see him go, oh, well, thank bit of fuck, they're off the property. Get them fucking things. That was his giving out yards, just shooting them fucking things off.
You know, Tom, it's amazing. I would not I would have thought that you would have hated interior designers. I thought you would have chased them off the place because they can, they can be very pain in the hole-ish, and certainly for a man that builds, and does the hard work. I can see them being a massive pain in your hole because they're like, can you not move that wall an inch to the left? It'll improve the flow of the room. And you're like, well, you fucking move the wall. It's a wall. I built that. Go fuck
I'm going to stop you there. That's a fucking architect. I'd shoot that cunt in the face with a ball of his own shit, right? After it's all said and done, and 'tis what it is. Now, Don't get me wrong. There are interior designers and architects often mix themselves up. I've seen interior designers come into fucking jobs and the job damn near finished, and the next thing going, wouldn't it have been lovely to do a very New England style veranda around the back here after you have it paved, plumbed, the whole fucking lot, plastered, and this fucker's listening to you, and you're going, I want off this fucking, do you know? And I've seen architects also then cross over into going, do you know what? If we could only do a glass brick finish through this, it would really cast light through it. And you just go, I'll put your fucking head through that fucking wall.
Do you know what would look good over there? Exposed brick. Yeah, well, I have a fucking solution for that, pal, and it's your fucking head going into it.
So, architect, draw the fucking thing. One time. One fucking time. Draw it one fucking time. Make a good fucking job of it. Hand it over to the engineer who executes the plan.
One time.
When it's all painted with fucking magnolia or white or whatever the fuck the standard paint is, then you bring an interior designer in around the place. And don't be talking about fucking moving walls or shifting fucking anything anywhere. Doctor up what is there and get the fuck out of the property. That's what I'm talking about now. I'm not I'm not muddying the waters. I know what these guns all went to college to do, and one want to do the other. And sometimes they start to fucking cross over each other's fucking ideas. You know what I mean? They start going, I'm a bit of a, you're fucking not. Get in, draw that fucking thing. And don't see me. I don't want to fucking see you again, because anything after, once it leaps off that page, you don't know what you're fucking talking about. You don't. Because if you did, you'd be a fucking engineer. So get the fuck out of the house. Do you know what I mean? So that's where you're right in that I won't have them doses in around the fucking place. But
I get you.
I like a person who fucking right good, like Patrick was that day. He'd want to fucking, that fucking man didn't want to know if there was a fucking RSJ running over his head or what. Only he walked in, saw the space, went, fucking beautiful. I'm going to fucking make, and he did. He made a fucking class job of it. Fucking class now, the way he did it. He chose the flooring that went down, and the flooring was spot on. It worked right in every fucking room the way he had it done. It was fucking mega now, to be fair to him. But he didn't come in and go, God, wouldn't it have been fantastic if we could just fucking drive a hole through that wall? And that would have been the point, because my boss at the time would have caught him and fucked him straight over the balcony. You know what I mean? The beautiful thing was, if you let a dog fucking bite you, they'll keep fucking biting you.
Yeah.
When you let these lads or girls in around the place and they want to start talking that out shit, they're going to keep fucking biting you. Well, you give them their fucking guideline at the beginning and offer to never fucking pay them a penny unless they get it done. Funny how things fucking don't get fucking blurred then, like.
Do you know what, Tom? I'm here like it's bamboozling me a little bit that you're into this interior design. One thing I will say is I've fucking done this. I've done a very small version of this.
Yeah, you have. Yeah,
I used to work in a tile shop and a timber flooring shop, and a lot of it was here, Tom. A lot of it was steered by the customer, and a lot of it was motivated by selling more shit, don't you know?
Of course. Yeah.
But basically, you can. I always found that you can help interior design somebody's house to their exact standards, pretty much by asking them what they want and pointing them towards it. But you got to do it in a certain way. You got to do it in the same way as one of these, these bogus psychics do it.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
When you're talking to someone and you're like, I'm seeing someone that was very close to you, a man or and they go, a woman, yes, and her name was Deirdre Mary Susan Teresa. They're like, yeah. My mom was called and this kind of thing. So like you do that with people that come in to buy tiles. It goes, is your room dark or bright? Was your bathroom dark? No, it's only got. Is it got a big window? No, it's only got a little window. Okay, well then you want a bright tile. Yes, you do. And for a border running around that, do you like colourful things you do, and green or blue. Blue, you like blue? Okay, boom, over here, white with a blue trim. Boom, done.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So make that sale, crack open that boot, load them tiles, bust the back axles on the way out. Job fucking done, Tom. I gotta tell you, I had fun doing that. I liked that, and in particular, it wasn't all just fucking.
You were getting the combo. For me, it's getting the combo right. It's about getting the combo right. You don't have to fucking have a ton of stuff. Getting that combo, fucking,
and just being
skirt,
able to
the right shape of skirt, the right color of skirt. Do you know what I mean?
Being able to turn around and go like, do you know what would be nice here?
Yeah. And then it being fucking nice. Do you know what I mean?
And I never seen the results of any of this shit, Tom. Nobody ever came into me a month later with a picture on their phone saying, "Here's how it fucking turned out."
We're good with that.
I was just like, I'm assuming all this is fucking awesome, but I don't fucking care one way or another. But yeah, I did like it up to a point, but never. I didn't think to the point that I would, do. And I think that's why my dislike of interior designers came in, because someone would come in and ask me what it would be like, and I'd be like, yeah, this over here and that over there and whatever and blah 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 and so on and so forth. But every now and then you get someone coming in with their interior designer in tow.
Yeah.
And the interior designer would be very adamant, it'll be this, it'll be that, and you're like, fuck me, that's not going to be it. And I know rightly in my heart and soul this person's going to get home and put that on the wall, and they'll say, no, I don't want to stop 4 tiles from the roof, I need 3 more courses, and they're going to come into me, and I'll have sold out of them, and it'll be a whole fucking to-do. Interior designer's gone, I'm the worst cunt in the world. Maybe you know what, Tom? Maybe I don't like interior designers. Maybe I just dislike this one interior designer.
You see, this is it. No, look, there is a lot of them when they come storming in like that. But of course, they have to make a career of sounding like they know what they're fucking talking about too. But a lot of it is down to perception. I wouldn't bring one in around the place, to be honest, for the most part, because I know what I fucking like.
Because you know what you're at, Tom. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
But look, I like a couple of soft furnishings in around the place, the right things in the right fucking place without overcrowding the fucking thing. Get your feng shui fucking buzzing. That's all I'm going to fucking have to say about that. And Jerry, that was my part of, you wouldn't think I'd like that.
Well, how about that, Tom? Well, let me ask you a question, Tom. When you're interior designing these houses and you know where you're putting your sofa and you know where you're putting your TV, you'll notice I'm staying in the sitting room. Do you see a drinks cabinet in here, Tom?
I mean, they could make a comeback. They could definitely make a comeback, because back in the day, every fucking house had some sort of a drinks cabinet. Everybody had. I had one. I lived by myself for a while, Jerry, just like you did at one stage. I lived by myself, and I had a fucking joiner on site, because I was living on site. I was one of the first finished houses, and that was just the handiest thing for me. They gave me a house on the fucking site, lived and breathed the fucking place. But one of the joiners on site out of marine ply made me one of the tastiest. I don't know where it ended up. I was just still at it. One of the tastiest drinks fucking collections, because around Christmas a lot of contractors would give you bottles. I had lots of bottles. I used to have gangs of people over. We'd have a party at the weekend and I'd give away this free booze. But drinking was a fucking fun thing. It was fun when the shackles were off.
There's plenty of times where we get drunk, Tom, and we do indeed like it, but there are on occasion times when we get a little fucking too drunk, Tom, don't you know?
You're fucked up.
You fucked up, son. And you know what? How about we chat about some of those times in a new segment of the Tom and Jerry show that we call The Drunkest I've Ever Been.
I'm afraid that I was very, very drunk.
I like this one.
You know what? I keep saying like a fucking new segment of the show. We're 4 deep, pal. Like the fucking damn
Jesus Christ, yeah. I didn't even think about it that way. It's abs. Well, fucking look, it's new because it's new. It hasn't been done before. We haven't regurgitated this.
And I gotta tell you, Tom.
Although in saying that, there was probably some regurgitation throughout a lot of our stories here, in actual fact.
It's one of these ones, Tom. Just like drinking itself, not knowing how many you've had is a fucking sign of it. It's a symptom.
Yep.
Well, let me tell you what I'm going to take you, Tom. Okay, we've been out exotic. We've been to Amsterdam. You've taken us to Amsterdam, Tom. You've taken us to Las Vegas, Nevada. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm coming up here in the halfpenny place. Okay, I've been drinking in New York one time. There's no real story to it. I went drinking in New York. I was over there by myself, and I fell in with a brother of a lady that I knew. I was friends with a girl here in Ireland, and she said, "My brother's in New York. While you're over there, just give him a shout." He landed in. We got shit-faced drunk in a pub. I don't know how I got home. There you go. It's not really.
You don't know how you got home to Ireland or back to where you were staying in
where
York?
I was staying in New York.
Right.
I chose my steps carefully, and I went into a fucking pizza place in Times Square, and I was shit-faced drunk, and I didn't want to like talk in an Irish accent in case someone heard me and knew I was a tourist. So they said, "What do you want?" And I just pointed at a pizza. Goes, "You'll let me get a slice." Right?
And I spent half the last episode giving out about fucking Americanisms, but in fairness, that's the one time when you're behind enemy lines, you got to use that bullshit. Yeah.
And then he gave me a slice, and I was like, "That's not going to do it. That's how fucking drunk I am. I want more." So he goes, "Would that be all, sir?" And I was like, I just pointed at another piece. I goes, "You'll let me get a slice." Just fucking said it again, right?
Exactly the same.
That's not a great story, Tom. Even though it takes place further afield, it's not a great story. I got drunk and I ate 2 slices of pizza out of Sbarro's. It's not. I will say in America, what I was drinking, I don't remember what I was drinking. I know it was black. And kind of, it was a spirit.
Okay.
And it was poured into me. And I don't know what it was. And I've never been able to find out what it was. But it was like a black molassesy kind of, it was a black drink. And I guess maybe like a black rum or something.
Oh, send us the suggestions of what you think it is, lads. Send us in the suggestions.
Do you know what I drank in New York? Tell us in the comments. So I'm not gonna stay in Ireland because we've had plenty of drink. I got some drinking stories in Ireland that I'm gonna round out the season, but don't you worry about that. But this one takes place. This one I want to talk about this week takes place in Spain, and I believe I've spoken about this on the podcast before.
You ran with the bulls, didn't you mad bastard? I heard somebody on the podcast talking about this the other day, and I was like, only mad cunts would do it. Now in my head I was going, fuck, Big Bride did that. Papilloma.
I know one. Yes,
Papilloma.
indeed. I as a much younger and much more lost young man, Tom, I found myself in a summer with no holiday plans. I wasn't going out with anyone at the time, and I'd been going out with someone for a long time, and it was always every year you'd go on holidays. But this year it was no one was going nowhere, and I was looking into a summer with a whole pile of fucking nothing to do. And of course, you had your holidays to take, and you had money to spend, and I was young. And I was like, okay, well, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to go to like Tenerife and sit on the beach by myself for a week. It's sad. I'm just going to go and do a thing. And I took a notion that I would do the running of the bulls in Spain. And that was as much as I fucking knew about it. They run bulls in Spain. That's what I know.
Hold on, so you knew nothing about the possible outcome.
Oh no, I had seen City Slickers, right? Oh. Right, but that was about the fucking height of it. And all I said to myself was, some year I'm going to do that, okay? And I goes, probably not this year, because I don't even know when it takes place. So I went on this newfangled thing called the internet, which was new.
Oh, the old internet, yeah.
And I put in running of the bulls, and it told me that it took place in a place called Pamplona in Spain, and it takes place next week. I was like, get the fuck. It's the first week in June or whatever it is. A quick Google will tell you when it was. I forget now. It'll take place in the 1st of June. And I looked at my watch and I was like, May, June. Oh, fuck me. It's the middle of May, and it's taking place next year. Okay, I'll fucking do that. So I went to work and I say, hey, come here. Can I have in a fortnight's time? Can I have a week off? And they're like, yeah, knock yourself out. We don't care. I was like, sweet, thanks. And that was what it was. I went to Madrid, which is closest city to Pamplona. And I was going to do the run of the bulls. Now, Tom, here's the thing. I didn't know how to plan a trip because anytime I'd gone on holidays up to this point, it was either a fucking school tour or I was going out with somebody and we went together.
Somebody was holding your hand, regardless.
Someone was holding my hand or wiping my arse, regardless. Or it was me and the lads going off to do whatever. But always that had been on someone else. And I was like, how much do you want me to pay? I'll do it. So I didn't fucking know how to get to Madrid. So I went in Aer Lingus and I said, okay, I want to go to Madrid. And they said, fine. And it was like, how much do you want to pay? And I was like, what you got? And they were like, it was one of these things. It was Ryanair or whoever it was.
Yeah.
It was like, well, one way is €19. And I was like, fuck, yeah, boom, €19 one way. And I just bought a one-way ticket.
This is some fucking littlest hobo shit right here.
Right? Under the impression that I'll get over there and I'll get in an internet cafe and I'll get like a €19 flight back, boom. Because surely it works both ways, right?
Yeah, no.
No, and I did the one thing I knew, Tom, was I don't know how long I'm going over. Maybe I'll stay for a day. Maybe I'll stay for 2 days. Who knows? Like we're going to fucking
fly by the seat of your pants. Look at you, fucking. You're like 10-man Louise, only minus fucking Louise.
Yeah, exactly. And I gotta tell you, Tom, like I stressed at the start of this story, I was quite a lost, angry young man at the time, and I was just like, fuck it, let's go. So I picked I found a hotel in Madrid. It was lovely. It was 4 stars. It was I had like a nice suite to myself with an ensuite and the whole lot. I didn't me fuck, Tom. I picked the cheapest fucking hotel.
I was looking going, this is so not McBride.
Cheapest
hell. Next
fucking,
thing he's going to say there was rose petals in the fucking bath.
So there was fucking roach wings in the open shower in the corner.
Oh, I've lived that life, yes.
And that was it. So I left with a bag on my back, my passport in like this sort of bum bag thing around me. It wasn't like a fanny pack like the Rock wears or anything like that.
Shit, I was hoping you.
No, it looked more like a medical dressing, and you were to wear it underneath your clothes. Do you know the one? It's like flat, and you know.
Did you buy that off QVC?
No, I bought it in the airport on the way over, and it was the fucking best thing about the whole trip. And it just basically flat to your belly, and you could put your driver's license in it and like a few pound, and you were away on a hack, right? All right.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I lands in
coolest guy in fucking Madrid.
There you go. Now here's a couple of things that I didn't know about the bull run. If you're listening to this going like, oh, the bull run, I gotta go do that. Don't fucking do it, okay? Don't do it. And not for nothing, you know, oh, it's a wonderful experience and it's blah blah and all this. It's horrible. It's bullfighting, Tom. And in years to come or years gone by, I learned that it's all part of this fucking thing of bullfighting, and it's cowardly, and the bulls all end up fucking killed,
slaughtered,
slaughtered, and it's cuntish and it's animal cruelty, and just don't fucking do it. And I'm sorry that I did it. And if I'd known what I know now, I wouldn't have fucking done it. I mean, like it's like, you know, oh, I'd love to do a parachute jump. Yeah, and then you later find out that they shoot the pilot in the head. You know what I mean? Like it's
they make the parachutes out of fucking virgin fucking heads. Yeah.
You know, like it's you know, I do feel bad about doing it, and I don't endorse it, okay? But I did drink a lot at it, and I had a lot to crack doing that, and that's what I want to tell you about. That much I do fucking endorse, okay? So I land over to Madrid, and I'm like, all right, okay, I got to get to Pamplona, and I kind of vaguely know where it is. But what I've basically done, Tom, is if you can imagine it going the other way, it's like flying into Dublin and saying, I need to get to Carrick-on-Shannon, where all the crack is. And they were like, well, how do you think you're getting from Dublin to Carrick-on-Shannon, dipshit? I don't know. Like, is there a bus or something? Or
had you looked like a fucking atlas or something? Or what had you done to work out where
No.
was?
No, all I'd done, Tom, is look at videos online of the bull run to see how I could avoid getting hit by a bull, which is very easy, and I'll talk you through that a little bit later on. But I hadn't done any. It was just like it's in Madrid, and it's only a 60-minute train from Madrid to Pamplona, and I was like, all right, rock and roll. Where's the train station in Madrid? Didn't know, didn't ask. All right, I was like, I'll find it when I get there. Okay,
right.
Which, you know, hardened travelers. You know, people that love traveling and go interrailing and all that kind of shit will say, yeah, that's the beauty of interrail and all that kind of thing. That's not the person I was. I like to know where I was and where I was going, and just for some reason I turned that switch off.
Yeah, he really did.
All right, and I was like, fuck it, we go. And when I got there, I was immediately like, I don't know fucking where I am. I don't know where the train station is. And this is an important part of this story, Tom. I don't speak Spanish.
¿Cómo estás?
Like, not even that. Like, you know, if I was to go to France, I could wing it on 5 years of French I did in secondary school. Would probably kick back in, and I could say "Où est la salle de bain?" and I could get to a toilet, right?
Would you?
If I went to Germany, I could hold my own in German because I'd done German in college, and again, I wasn't conversational in it, but I would know left from right.
Yes, would you? Links und rechts.
I went to Spain and I did not fucking know how to say
no habla fucking España.
Nothing. Not a word of it, okay? And like, it never occurred to me buy a phrase book or anything like that. I'm fucking flying. So, like, I know nothing. And I rock up to the train station, ignorant as fuck, expecting somebody to come over and tell me in perfect English what train to get to Pamplona and get to it.
No, it don't work like that in Europe. They don't give a fuck.
Now, here's what I'll tell you about the running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. It takes place in the morning. It takes place at like 7 o'clock in the morning, okay?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so, you know, do I get a train at like 6 and I'm there for 7 and then we do it? And like, you know, anything that I'd read had said, no, you don't do that. You go from Madrid to Pamplona, and you're very unlikely to get a hotel because this is a week out from the run, and you've missed it. If you were going to get a hotel, number one, you were going to pay like €1,000 a night for it, and most people don't bother because most people just don't go to bed. They just plow straight through the night.
I'm with you. Good. Yes, I like that.
And I was like, I can live with that. I can live that life one night. I can plow through 24 hours straight. The narrator comes in, but McBride could not plow through 24 hours straight.
The narrator also went, "Oh man, he has lived this fucking viciousness.
Yeah.
He understands."
So I fucking goes to the train station. I was like, Pamplona, see to play, ik bin Irlande, I'm throwing like a big fucking, Eurovision Song Contest voting jury, bit of everything into this, okay?
Yeah,
and some lady took pity on me, and she said, "Where you want to go?" I says, "Pamplona, I'm doing the bull run." And she goes, "Okay," and she came over and she brought me over to a kiosk and she started dotting in, like it's all like zone, okay, that's zone 6 and that's blah 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 and all this kind of shit. And I was like, all right, and I think I paid something like €120 for the train ticket,
Jesus
which was more than
Christ.
ever paid for trains in my fuck. And again, dipshit McBride, she goes like, it's €120 or like it's 150 return, and I was like, well, I don't know when I'm going to be coming back, so I'll just take
for fuck's sake.
And what I bought, Tom, was like a first class train ticket, which like I don't know whether she told me that there was no regular tickets left, so it was first class or walk, or whether I just said first class, yeah, fuck it, yeah, go on, why not? So I was in like the swankiest train carriage you ever met in your life, and I
with
got
your
served
fucking built-in fanny pack,
with my little sort of colostomy strap fanny pack around my stomach, right? And a fucking. The first drink of the day went. This is about 6:00 in the evening. The first drink of the day went like the lady came around and she gave me like a mimosa, like a champagne and orange juice in a real glass, right? And then I watched the movie on the little screen in front of me, which was the Golden Compass, the big polar bear movie. It was the magic polar bear movie in Spanish with no subtitles. For an hour and a half, supping mimosas on the way to Pamplona. And we get to Pamplona, right?
Time in the morning is this?
Oh no, this is like 7:00 at night.
All right, okay, yeah.
Because I'd gone, and it might even have been earlier because it was very bright out, but it was Spain in the summer, so fuck knows. It could be 2:00 in the morning. I don't know where the fuck I am. Now here's something that people in Pamplona aren't gonna like, Tom. The first thing I thought when I got to Pamplona was, fuck me, it's very like Drogheda here.
Note for the podcast notes, Pamplona, Drogheda.
Right?
I swear to God, I'm putting that in the fucking notes.
Because it was the kind of thing where it was like, okay, it's a town, but if you round the corner.
Can you imagine a Drogheda accent speaking Spanish?
Well, I had doing the bull run, gas. Right? And I fucking, but it's the kind of thing where it's like a new, relatively new city, and then you round the corner and there's like fucking castle walls and shit.
Okay, right, yeah.
And Cobble Street and all this. So I sussed out where the bull run, and it's not a big place either. And I sussed out where the bull run was taking place. Basically, what happens is at 7:00 in the morning, you don't have to sign up. You don't get a bib like you're doing the Dublin Marathon. If you want to go on it,
were you on all your whites?
Yeah, I had to buy a t-shirt. That was one of the things I had to do. So I bought a t-shirt, and the basic gist of it was, if you want to be on the bull run, stay on this side of the fence. If you don't want to be on the bull run, stay on this side of the fence, because on this side of the fence, in 2 minutes, there's going to be some fucking bulls running at you. That's as simple as it is. You're in or you're out, okay?
I like that.
But between that, we had about 12 hours to kill. So I said, all right, I'm gonna start drinking. So I started drinking. I had a little mimosa buzz, and there was a lot. Basically, in my memory, Tom, and this might be wrong, but in my memory, everywhere was selling drink. Like literally, every shop had shut, every newsagent had closed down, and they'd rolled up a shutter, and you could get takeaway pints and plastic glasses out of it. And you drank your pint and you walked on about your business, and you drank your pint and you walked on about your business. And I'm doing all this, and I hadn't eaten all fucking day. All right, I'm supping mimosas on a train, half asleep because I'm quite tired because I flew in on Ryanair at like fucking 6:00 in the morning. So I'm like, I'm tired and I'm shaky here now, okay? And it's becoming apparent to me that, okay, well, where are you going to sleep here? And I could see like, a load of people had set up like sleeping bags on the ground and shit like that on the roundabout, like a road roundabout, like the Walkinson roundabout. Yeah. That was like a grassy sort of roundabout, and everybody, that was like the fucking Pamplona Hilton. That was the classiest place to stay if you got sleeping on the roundabout. They'd all just like lined out their sleeping bags and such like, and they were having like a little party on the hill with cars still going around, buzzing around. And I was like, all right, okay, well, I'm not classy enough for the fucking Pamplona roundabout, so I guess I'm gonna play it through, right? And I fell in with this lad who'd been on the train, and he seemed to be traveling by himself. And he was an Asian American chap whose name escapes me. But I remember...
That's a strange fucking name. Escapes me.
Escape me. I forget it. I forget his name, but I remember one distinct thing, because he gave me his business card, right?
I
probably still have it, right? You probably still have it. But I remember that he worked for Lehman Brothers.
He was worth a fucking fortune, so the cunt. He brought down the fucking...
He was just after getting a job in Lehman Brothers, and I'd forgotten all about this man until like the next year when the crash happened and Lehman Brothers shut down. I was like, fuck me, I wonder how my man got on, you know? Probably fuck himself, you know. Probably just like fucked himself into drinking depression because he lost his cushy stockbroker job. For all I know, he was one of the lads that brought the place down. But I did say to myself, I think his name was Kevin. I said to myself, fuck me, I wonder how he's getting on. Anyway, regardless, me and him kind of fell in with drinking, and it was the damnedest thing because he buggered off. It was like you and your Russian pal. He fucked off on his own for a little while, and then I fell in with him again later on in the night.
Right.
But before I fell in with him, Tom, I fell in with a squad of Spanish teenagers.
Yeah, right? You did.
A fucking gang of lads, right? And I think my opener to them was, fuck me, you lads are loud and noisy over here. I thought it was just in Ireland. Because it was the same fuckers that you see clogging up the 39A, you know, getting on the bus in the summer, going 2 stops and getting off while everybody's trying to get home from work. The loud backpack wearing Spanish teenagers that come over here for the summer. What do you know? They left some of them at home. They
shouted at each other at home too.
They're as loud over there as they are over here, and that was my opener. I was like, you guys are fucking loud over here as well. And they're like, hey, where are you from? I goes, I'm from Ireland. And by mercy, some, if not all of them, had English. They go, you're from Ireland? You know, yeah, I'm over here to do the bull run. They're like, where are you staying, brother? I was like, I don't know where the fuck I'm staying at. And it goes, well, like, you know, where's your luggage or anything like that? And I was like, these fuckers are going to rob me. I goes, I don't have any luggage. I got like, and I just put my hand in my pocket. I got my phone and my passport. And they were like, you crazy Irish bastard. You mean to say you flew from Dublin to Madrid with your phone and your passport just to do this? You came over today to do this and you're going home tomorrow? And I goes, yeah, that's the plan. I mean, I got a phone charger back in the hotel, but other than that, that's about pretty much all that fucking with me. They went, you crazy bastard, you gotta come drinking with us. I goes, gladly. If you got drink I don't have to pay money on? They goes, yes. I goes, I'll gladly fucking drink with you, right? And I fell in drinking with them, and they said, here you go, drink this, right? And I goes, well, okay, well, like, you know, I'm the kind of guy that likes to know what he's drinking.
Hold on, are you sitting around the park somewhere, or what's the crack?
No, we're wandering the streets, Tom.
Okay.
we're doing our drinking walking, okay? And I goes, what have you got here? And they said it's Coke and wine. And I goes, okay, you know, obviously your English or my Spanish isn't all that good. Because it sounded to me like you said Coke and wine. They said, yeah, Coke and wine. I goes, Coca-Cola. They goes, yeah. And red wine. They said, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I goes, in the one bottle. And they said, yeah. Like I was fucking stupid. But this is apparently a thing, and there's a name for it, which escapes me right now. If you know the name of...
I want the listeners to tell us. Please tell us in the comments on Instagram or Twitter. Please tell us what that manky piss is.
If you guys know what the colloquial term is for the preferred beverage of Spanish teenagers, which consists of Coca-Cola and red wine mixed together in a 2-liter bottle, let us know in the comments.
Fuck.
And I took a swig of it, and you know what it tastes like, Tom?
Go on.
It tastes like Coca-Cola and red wine mixed in a fucking bottle, right? But it had this sort of buckfasty kind of syrupy kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, the sugary, yeah.
Sugary kind of thing. And then I went on, and there was another crowd. And there exists one photo of me from all this time, and it was taken by Kevin throughout the whole thing. He had a camera with him. I didn't. I had my phone for a while. We'll get to that now in a little while. And me and the Spanish teenagers started slamming this fucking Coke and red wine into us, and it was all very well and good. And they informed me of some other local beverage that they had And you got to buy this. And they took me over to a shop and they said, this guy wants a bottle of what have you. And I goes, yeah, I'll have a bottle of what have you. And they gave me a bottle of stuff. And I paid them like whatever, €5, whatever it was. And it's the only picture that exists of me at this fucking bull run. I'll put it up on the Instagram. Kevin took it, and later on, when all was said and done, I emailed him on the business card. I said, "Hey, come here. Did you take any pictures of me? Because I wanted them for Bebo at the time."
Oh Jesus!
All right, and I said, have you any pictures? And he goes, "Yeah, I got this one picture of you, and I sent it to you." And it's me holding a bottle, and it looks, for all intents and purposes, like a bottle of Buckfast. It's that sort of triangle-y kind of glass bottle, tall glass bottle, yellow label. I'm pretty sure it was some sort of fortified wine, but I reckon it's Buckfast, and I reckon I had about 4 bottles of it, Tom, right?
Fucking hell.
Having not ever drank this before, during or since or after, but this was the drink of the time. So I'm here full of fucking mimosas, Coke and red wine together in one bottle.
Had you eaten at this stage? Had you eaten some sort of pastry?
No.
Fuck me.
No. And it's rolling on late at night, and I fucking fell in with Kevin again, and he's fucking scundered, right? He's gone. I'm like, Kevin, how do we keep bumping into each other? Like, is this some quantum leap shit? Because we just keep fucking straying about the place. And I said, let me get you a drink. And he's fucking buckled. He's like, no, man, I want to go home. And I was like, we're fucking way beyond home here, pal. We're running with these motherfuckers. We're gone, buddy. And I said, and I went to get a drink, and I found that my phone wasn't there. I goes, Kevin, my phone's not here. And I goes, I didn't take your phone. I goes, I didn't say you take my phone, but like, nevertheless, the phone is gone. Can you do me a favor? Can you ring it? The two of us are fucking scundered in like what I believe was a nightclub, but could also have been like a converted newsagent's. Whole town goes wild. All right, so he's like, he rang 087, blah, blah, blah. And no, I'm here looking on the ground, like, can't find shit. And he goes, maybe it's not ringing. I says, try 00353. It's drop the O, drop the prefix. And I'm looking here, I'm like, God damn it, my phone's gone. And I couldn't blame the Spanish teenagers because I had it since then. I'm not saying the Spanish teenagers robbed me. Either I had been robbed or I just lost it. Either are possible. But regardless, I'm now here in fucking Pamplona, no phone, no nothing. I'm fucking winging it, pal, all right?
So you just transported straight back to the 1980s right there. So you've no contact, you've no getting home, you've no, holy shit.
Like, I was having a degree of panicked crack up to this point, you know? But once I had no phone, I was like, fuck me, I could die tomorrow. And, you know, well, I wouldn't be able to ring anybody if I died anyway, but I could be seriously injured at the fucking bull run and not be able to ring home and say, look, someone needs to get to an embassy, right?
The fucking embassy in Carrickmacross.
So Kev had the fucking strop at me because he thought I was accusing him of robbing his phone. And I was like, let's just get another couple of drinks. And then I woke up on a footpath.
That was it. That was the last you fucking remember.
That was the last one. You know, Kevin fucking nowhere to be seen. He's fucking gone. Like, I don't know where the hell he was. And I fucking woke up just like sitting on a footpath. I'd never slept outside before in my life or since. And I'm like just sitting cold in the cold air of Pamplona in the morning. And my first thought is, motherfucker, I've come all this way and I've missed the damn thing. I've done that thing. I've fallen. Clearly I came out of the nightclub and through either my own volition or just the drink, sat my ass down here and just literally passed out drunk.
Was there anybody else passed out drunk around the place? Because it sounds like
Tom,
it was a fucking fairly frequent occurrence, I'd imagine.
Tom, you couldn't move for people that were passed out drunk. That's why you sat down. You looked around and went, well, it was good enough for the goose, it's good enough for the gander. There's a Kylie Minogue song called, I believe it's called Slow. And if anybody's familiar with the video of it, there's a big pan-up shot where Kylie is just lying on the side of a pool with loads of people lying around her. It's kind of like that. Actually, do you know what it was more like, Tom? Have you ever seen that Radiohead video where there's one fucker laying on the ground and he won't tell anyone why he won't get up? And they're all like, tell us why you're laying on the ground. And he goes, I can't tell you. And then he whispers something to someone's ear. And then it goes wide and everybody's laying on the footpath. It's like that. It's just like that. It's just like fuckers laying on the footpath everywhere. Just cunts all over the shop, right? So I get up and I'm like, fuck me, lads, did we miss it? All this kind of thing, talking to nobody. And here's the thing. This is the drunkest I've ever been. Is right this point, right here. Okay, because I've drunk until like 5 o'clock in the morning. I've fallen asleep for 1.5 hours, and I've woken up hungover and drunk at the same time.
Oh fuck! Oh, there's no enjoyment in that. There
is no enjoyment in that. Like no matter, like if you can picture the you know when you go to bed drunk and you're like, I think I'm gonna get sick. I need to put my foot on the floor to stop the room from spinning.
Yeah,
it's that, and it's that grinding fucking
drunk, fuck,
horrible, full of Buckfast fortified wine, coke and wine, every goddamn
mimosas.
Like a half inch of dirt on your teeth. Everything's fucking wrong. Big rash on your arse from sitting on a footpath for an hour and a half in the cold. Just the cold's in your bones.
Yeah, you hadn't pissed yourself or anything like that, had you? You hadn't gotten that bad.
I hadn't gotten that bad, but what had woken me up was the want of a piss. So I kind of hobbled down around the corner and pissed somewhere. I was this close to pissing myself, and then wouldn't that have been a scene?
I'm guessing on that footpath, you probably wouldn't have been alone.
And I gotta tell you, Tom, I've had this level of hangover before, okay? I haven't fallen asleep on a footpath before, but I've had this level of, fuck me, I've only had an hour and a half sleep, and now I have to go somewhere, I have to do things. I've had this hangover before, but I've never had this level of a hangover and then had to go get chased by bulls. And I'm like, I go down, I'm like, I didn't come this far. They said, you haven't missed it, come on down. And I went down to the running track. And I had somewhere along the way at the night before, I'd bought myself a white t-shirt and a red scarf. You wear a red scarf. That's the traditional garb. And I'd bought that for myself from some souvenir stand. I believe I still have the t-shirt. And I took my place beside like these other two Americans, and they were like, I'm like, fuck's sake, lads, what are we at here? They were like, they weren't paying any attention to me. And they were like, they were sort of like chest bumping each other. They were real assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, come on. Yeah, bro. They were chest bumping. They were, let's fucking do this.
Just give me a slice.
Give me a slice. You slice me, bull. And how the bull run starts is they send a rocket up to the sky, okay? So the track is like a mile down to a stadium. And they send a rocket up to the sky, and that means the bulls have passed a certain point. Now, if you run at the first rocket, you're chicken shit, and people boo you and throw things from the balconies at you, like because you're a pussy. You have to wait until the second rocket, which means the bulls have passed a certain point, and you're in danger now. And when the second rocket goes,
in danger of dehydration, by the sounds of it.
When the second rocket goes, that's when it's time to move. And the first rocket goes, and the two Americans that were there like, yeah, bro. The first rocket goes, and those two cunts just jump the fence. They're shit themselves.
Couple of fucking fannies.
And I'm there laughing at, fuck's sake, lads, he's not even come out. And then the second rocket goes, and everybody starts running. I'm still here yelling abuse at these two Americans. I was like, oh shit, you're right, the bulls, right? And I fucking run it, and it's just like City Slickers. You fucking peg it down the street. You peg it down the street, and I had known from my YouTube videos, remember your training, Tom, if you're turning a corner and there's bulls out, do you take the outside or the inside?
Take the inside.
You take the inside, right?
Yeah. Because they're on hooves. Take the outside, you're on fucking runners.
If you take the outside, what's going to happen?
You're going to get clean out of it.
You're going to get cleaned out of it. So all I did was I knew to take the inside line like fucking Sonic the Hedgehog, take the inside, right? And the bulls will come running along, and a few give you like a shunt out of the way, but nothing major. Like the kind of badge of honor you have is there's some boys with rolled up newspapers. They run with rolled up newspapers to whack the bulls on the arses and keep the merriment going. And I was like patting bulls on the back as they were running past me. I was like, this is great crack, you know. I was like, I don't feel hungover at all. And I made it to the end result is like this big stadium, this big sort of Coliseum bull ring stadium where bullfights and shit takes place all week. And again, I didn't know about the bullfight aspect of it because I was a fucking idiot. But here we are.
I love that. Like you got down to the city, but so do we hang out with the bulls now? What's right? No.
Well, no, it's not quite like that. Again, when you get to the stadium depends on the reception you get. Okay, if you're the first person into the stadium, you get booed mercilessly because you clearly ran ahead of time. Okay, stadium's packed with 5,000 people. If you arrive early, you're booed out of it, okay? If all the bulls arrive into the stadium and then you arrive in after it's sort of running and gas and all that, you get booed mercilessly because you let all the bulls run past you. Like the only way to curry favor with these people is to arrive with a bullhorn through you, right?
Or on one of their backs.
Yeah.
Where did you end up?
Well, 2 seconds, Tom. I'm gonna give it a crack there. Are you hearing a buzz there, or is it just me?
Just you.
You're not hearing that?
Nope.
Okay. Keep an ear out for it. And we're back in the room. So I land in, hung over the fuck, half drunk, but a little bit enthusiastic about this, right? And next thing, I was just like, okay, so we walk off now, like we go get breakfast rolls. What's the crack, lads? And that's when I noticed that the lads were closing the gates.
What?
They were closing the gates of the Coliseum.
I hear.
With us in.
What?
Yes. See, this is the second part of the bull run that people don't tell you about. After you've run down the street, they lock you in the bull ring and let bulls loose out in it. Now, I did not know about this.
Holy mother of Jesus.
And you're talking that there's like, 1,000 people in a tennis court sized area, sort of bull ring. I don't know, your standard bull ring, Tom. And a bull is let loose, and they fucking flatten lads left, right, and center. And it's
Christ!
It's like letting a bull loose at an electric picnic. You can't see where the fucker's coming from. There's no, remember I said back the way, like, stay to the inside of the turn and you'll be grand. There is no inside of the turn. Everywhere's the inside of the turn.
So are all the bulls and ye locked into one pen?
No, the bulls that came running in the street, they go in one side and out the other. Then the doors are locked. Then they let in one fresh bull at a time. He runs around for about a couple of minutes.
Oh my Jesus Christ!
Then they take him out. Then they let a fresh one in again. And because they got to keep fresh bulls going in.
Of course.
And
yeah.
They do this 5 or 6 times. Now this is where I picked up my injury. Okay, and it wasn't from a bull, right? I was standing there looking around. Oh, where is it? Where's the bulls? Where's all this? And there was an English fella in front of me. So,
horse.
What was the fucking
fuck's sake?
Okay, if you're English and you're listening to this, leave us a 5-star review.
If you're English listening to this, you'll know exactly what's coming next.
But he goes, "Fuck me, it's a fucking bull."
Really?
What the fuck else would it be, pal?
The fucking flamingo showed up. Now that'd be something to get fucking weirded out by.
And he turned to run, and he ran head first, like as fast as he could, and he charged into me, and he fucking speared me out of it, okay? He just turned and ran, and I was there like, and he fucking took me out of it, and the two of us are down on the ground. Now, he knocked himself out cold. He ran head first into my ribs. This is where I always had sympathy for you breaking ribs when you were doing your doing the panto back a couple of seasons ago, Tom, because this is where I knew what broken ribs feel like. This can't fucking snap 2 of my ribs. And then I'm on the ground, broken ribs, kind of drunk, kind of hungover. He's out cold, Tom. He could still be there for all I fucking know.
Or for all you care.
Or for all I fucking care. So I get up and like, and true enough, there was a fucking bull running straight at me. Holding the ribs.
He was fucking right.
But undeterred by this, Tom, you get a little bit of bravado about you, and when they let the fresh bull out, they let him out of like a shoot, like a run.
Yeah.
And the bulls are there doing the fucking foot thing on the ground like it's a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Like it's, But like you'd think like, okay, they're going to open that door, so let's stay away from there. But I noticed that when they were opening that door to let a fresh bull out into the ring, everybody would sort of go to it and they'd get into sort of like a rugby scrum formation of like 20 lads or whatever, like a rugby scrum formation, and they'd be bouncing up and they're going, oh, and the bull would just plow straight through them like skittles. Like clatter straight through them. And I stayed the fuck away from that for the first couple of them. But like after a while, I was like, I got to get in this. And you find yourself in that
like
scrum
with a
like a mosh pit, which like a Spartan phalanx. Tom, you're just there.
Red Rover, send one over, and over comes a fucking
and over comes a ball and smashes through you. And when the last one was done, the crowd cheered and thanked us for our service, and we were all kind of going, "Go on, send out another ball to us, please." And that was your cue to go drinking again. And I was like, I can't drink. I'm fucked. I'm dying. I need to go back to my shitty hotel in Madrid, and I need to get on a plane and go home and get a new phone in Vodafone and let everybody kind of know that I'm sort of alive. So I went back down to a train and I got another fucking... I was going to get a ticket, but the trains were absolutely packed. It was like the last chopper out of Saigon. And who did I fucking meet here, Tom? Lo and behold, only my man, Kevin, who had shit his pants and not done the run. Thanks for fucking nothing,
What
pal.
a fanny.
But I'll tell you one thing, Tom. He did teach me how to jump on a train, which is what we did. We jumped on a train and we sort of hid from inspectors all the way back into Madrid. And he fucked off, and I thanked him for his service. And I had his business card, and I got it. My first and only email from a Lehman Brothers account was when he sent me a picture that I'll put up on the Instagram. I got back to Madrid, fucking absolutely just needed to get home. Threw my bag in the back, went to the airport, paid something like €380 for a return ticket to Dublin. So, like, this is the least effective bang for your buck. If you count it all up, the whole, like, escapade, 2 days in Madrid, broken ribs, cost me about €1,000. You could have got a fucking week in Las Vegas for it. And I'll tell you how fucking drunk I was when I got back to Madrid. All right. And I believe I've told this story on the podcast. When I was back in Madrid, I noticed that there was a movie premiere in the local cinema kicking off. I do believe I might have told you this story. There was a movie premiere kicking off in the square, and I was fucking hungover, no phone, no nothing. And I said I'd hang around for it. It was the movie premiere for Get Smart, the movie remake of Get Smart starring Steve Carell, Anne Hathaway, and The Rock. And the stars were attending. I hung around there for an hour, and The Rock got out, and I fucking shook hands with The Rock and said, "How are you keeping?" And he said, "Hey, how are you doing, buddy?" And all this kind of crack. And I said hello to Steve Carell as well, and Anne Hathaway wouldn't come near us. And
she could smell you.
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. But that is how fucking drunk I was, Tom, that I was nonchalant meeting The Rock.
You're like, yo, give me a slice of that.
I was like, Rock, it's nice to see you, I suppose, but I really need some sleep. And that's one of the drunkest I've ever been, Tom.
Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty. The pain of that hangover and then having to face into that shit. Oh, fucking! Oh, that's right.
But you know what? I'm not an advocate of binge drinking, but I think everybody needs a drink after that, Tom. But before you all take to the bars,
before we go anywhere,
these things go around like scale extract, Tom.
Yeah, they do. It's cyclical. Life is like a circle. It's like a circle, John. So, but before we go and head off into the fucking dust and back
we
into the
have
bushes,
to tell. Yeah, shit. I keep forgetting about these bonus episodes, Tom.
Damn right. Shit away. We've had a bonus episode. Another one. And I know a lot of our listeners are going to be very happy because there's a familiar face showing up next week, familiar voice showing up next week. We have joining us. We're rounding back. We've had politicians. We've had singers. We're rounding back to another comedian, a fan favorite. Tell him who's with us next week, Jared.
The wonderful Mr. Mickey Bartlett.
Oh, you know it. He's been on my podcast a bunch of times, and every time it circles pretty much around worst gigs ever. And Jerry, he has some of the juiciest worst gigs ever.
He has some incredible stories, and Tom Mickey is the rarest of things.
What's that?
He's a comedian I wish well.
Oh, yeah.
They're fucking slim on the ground, Tom.
They're fucking are. He's one of them fellas you like a bit of me.
He's just a nice guy.
He's just a fucking nice guy. He's got nunchucks and
I fucking like the rest of you as well, so I do. But no, Mickey's always good crack. And guys, if you're not unfamiliar with Mickey or his work, you can check him out on some social media feeds that we'll throw up some links for. Tom, you remind me to do that, will you, buddy?
He's fucking beyond hilarious, and his stories, they don't disappoint. You know it. Hit subscribe to the podcast, lads. It'll arrive into your ears on the reg twice a week now. Twice a week, we are fucking pumping it out because I don't know. There's nobody doing it like this, Jer. There's nobody doing it like this. Guests now every week. Bonuses.
It'd kill them if they tried, Tom.
And we're asking nothing of people.
We were built for this, Tom.
We were fucking hewn out of rock for this.
That's it, and that's well, do what Tom said. The fucking like and the subscribe and the leave comments and the sharing and the
they know
tell a friend and all that kind of thing. And then 5-star reviews, please. Come on, let's not fuck around. We're not here for personal growth. We just want fucking joy.
Absolutely. And just on the comments thing, again, if you haven't heard it or you're coming in late to the party, comment on whatever platform you're able to comment on. Take a screen grab and send it to us because it doesn't give us. Because we got Canadian ones the other day. Did we get alerted by it? No, we didn't. But the champ took a screen grab, sent it on to us. As well as that, if you can't, just write something nice while screen grabbing, listening to it. Tag the Tom and Jerry Show on Instagram or Twitter. It'll go in the bag, because come the end of the season, you're going to win yourself a prize with some top quality Tom and Jerry artwork, which is coming your way soon. Jerry, let's hit the fucking road, son.
Yeah. By the way, on that prize, terms and conditions apply. Other than that, thank you very much for listening to the Tom and Jerry Show. I don't know, I was listening to your wording of that, Tom. It sounded like everybody that writes a comment gets a prize. Not the case. One person, chosen at their discretion. No, it's okay. We'll leave it at that, Tom. They know what the crack is.
Of course they
do. We don't have to do it again. They get the gist of it.
Yes.
Other than that, what can I say? Thank you very much for listening. I've been Tom. No, Tom. I fucked that up, didn't I? I've been Jerry McBride.
I'm leaving that in.
You can leave that in.
I'm not editing that out. He's
McBride. I've been Tom McBride. No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom McBride is a country singer from fucking up your way. I'm sure.
I fucking wish I was Tom McBride.
Good luck and thanks, everybody.